Hare Krishna. So today is the very, very auspicious day, appearance day of Srivas Thakur. So we read something from Srimad Bhagavatam. I know, but sometimes in Vrindavan we read the verse and then go to the appearance day or disappearance day, whatever it is. What is your system here? Okay. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter what, 68? We still? 42. Canto 10, Chapter 68, verses chapter entitled The Marriage of Samba. Jalayanam Ivagurnam Gangayam Nagaram Patat Akrisyammanam Alokya Kodavaha Jata Sambramaha Jalayanam Ivagurnam Gangayam Nagaram Patat Akrisyammanam Alokya Kodavaha Jata Sambrama Jalayanam Ivagurnam Gangayam Nagaram Patat Akrisyammanam Alokya Kodavakjata Sambramaha. Ladies? Okay, so I'll read the next one. Tameva saranam jagmu sakutumba jivi savaha salakshmanam Puraskritya Sambam Pranjalaya Prabhum Jalayanam, a raft, Eva, as if, Agurnam, tumbling about, Gangayam, into the Ganga, Nagaram, the city, Patat, falling, Akristya, Manam, being dragged, Alokya, seeing, Kauravaha, the Kauravas, Jata, becoming, Sambramaha, excited and bewildered, Tam, to him, Lord Balaram, Eva, indeed, Saranam, for shelter, Jagmu, they went, Sa, with, Kutumbaha, their families, Jiji Vishava, wanting to remain alive, Sa, with, Lakshmanam, Lakshmana, Purakritya, placing in front, Sambam, Samba, Pranjalaya, with palms joined in supplication, Prabhu, to the Lord. Translation, seeing that their city was tumbling about like a raft at sea as it was being dragged away, and that it was about to fall into the Ganga, the Kauravas became terrified. To save their lives, they approached the Lord for shelter, taking their families with them. Placing Samba and Lakshmana in front, they joined their palms in supplication. So purport, the city of Hastinapur began to roll about like a raft in a stormy sea. The frightened Kauravas, to quickly appease the Lord, immediately brought Samba and Lakshmana and placed them in front. So seeing the amazing prowess of Lord Baladev, all the Kauravas became very frightened. Their whole city was just like a raft in the ocean, being tossed about. We can just imagine Lord Balaram with his plow. He just dug up the whole city and was going to drag it into the Ganga. So finally they came to their senses, and bringing Samba and Lakshmana with them, placing them in the front, and they came with their families. As a warrior would never come to a fight with his family. He leaves the family behind. So they brought their family, showing that they're not here to fight. They're anxious for save the lives of themselves and their families. So Balaram's anger has had its desired effect. Sri Baladev Prabhu ki. So we'll, by mercy of Vaishnavas, we'll try to speak something about the glories of Srivas Thakur, because today is his very holy appearance day. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chaksurun Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadandigam Aradhanastranandantai Ridam Yache Puna Puna Srimad Rupa Vadambujo Dalisyam Janma Janmani Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Panchakalpadrubhyascha kripasindhu patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Panchatatatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Surupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktyakam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. So our Srivas Pandit, he's one of the member of the Panchatattva. Just like in this verse, it says, Panchatattva-atmakam Krishnam, Bhakta Rupa. Bhakta Rupa means Lord Chaitanya. He's Krishna himself, but he's come in the form of devotee. To teach the living entities how to surrender to Krishna. End of Bhagavad-gita, Krishna says, you just surrender to me. So he shows in this Kali Yuga how to surrender to Krishna. So, just like if we see that the teacher, he's writing all the alphabet, ka, ga, ga, all like on the blackboard, doesn't mean that he's learning, he's teaching. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's actually Krishna himself, but he's in the role of a devotee teaching. Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam. And he's got his Sarup, his expansion. That is Lord Balaram, who has appeared as Lord Nityananda. Brajendra Nandana Jai Sati Sutta Hoilo Se Balaram Hoilo Nitai. Pachatattva-atmakam Krishna Bhakta Rupa Swarupa Bhaktavataram. Avatar, that is our Advaitacharya. He's both Mahavishnu and Sadashiva. Bhaktavataram Bhaktyakam, he's Bhakt. That is our Srivas Pandit. And Bhakta Shaktikam, he's the internal energy. That is Gadadhar. So Prabhupada has written one whole book just to explain this mystery. Lord Chaitanya in 5 features. Because these all 5 together make the absolute truth. Just like the Mayavadis, they say everything is one. You're God, I'm God, we're all God. Now we've forgotten somehow or another how God can forget. They don't explain. That's what we call Mayavadi, because they're saying God can fall under the control of Maya. How is it possible? Just like being here in Bombay, I'm remembering all my old... I didn't get much association Prabhupada in Bombay, but we came for the big Sankirtan protest in 1974. And Prabhupada would, just a little temporary temple was here, and Prabhupada would give Pandal program every night. Every day we would do Sankirtan. And in the mornings, Prabhupada would go on his morning walk. And he would meet with Dr. Patel. And Dr. Patel would argue his Mayavadi arguments. He wasn't really a Mayavadi, but he would just wanted to understand. So Prabhupada told him, just see, because we were walking on the beach. He said, we're walking on the sand, not in the sea or in the air. You can say it is all one, it is all atoms. But still, we walk on the sand, not in the sea or in the air. We don't walk on the water, we don't walk in the air, we walk on the sand. You can say it is all one, it is all atoms, but still it is like that. He said, just like, he gave another example. In this body, so many holes are there. You can say it is all one. They're all holes, they're all one. But still, we put the food here, we don't put it here. Prabhupada motion like this. He said, even child can understand. Therefore, your intelligence is less than child. So Prabhupada, to smash this Mayavad philosophy, he's presented this book, Lord Chaitanya, in 5 features. These 5 features make up the complete absolute truth. the Lord, His expansion, His avatar, His internal potency, and the devotee. So Srivas Pandit, he represents the marginal energy, Tatastha Shakti, the living entity. So all these five taken together, that is the supreme absolute truth. We're all one, just like if we have a piece of gold, that gold in the gold earring and the gold in the gold mine are the same. But you can't say, because I have a gold earring, I have a gold mine. The quantity is much greater. So we're Ham Brahmasmi, that's all right, I'm spirit, but I'm tiny spark spirit. And Lord Krishna, He's the supreme, Param Brahm. So these all five features, so that is Srivas Pandit. And according to Gaura Desha Deepika, he's the incarnation of our favorite devotee, Narad Muni. Narad Muni wanted to take part in the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, so he appeared as Srivas Thakur. And Srivas Thakur, his father was a very great Brahmin named Jaladhar, and he lived in Srihat. Nowadays it's known as Sylhet. It's in Bangladesh. And I have been there. I was there for Gaur Purnima one year, a long, long time ago, in Sylhet. We have a beautiful temple there on top of a hill. So he was from Sylhet. And Jaladhar had four sons. Srivas, Sri Ram Pandit, Srinidhi, and Sripati. And all of them were great Vaishnavas. So they were attracted to Mayapur because there Advaitacharya and a few Vaishnavas were congregating. So to get association of Vaishnavas, because Prabhupada said 90% of our advancement in Krishna consciousness is due to association. Lord Chaitanya says in, what is that? Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Koi, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Koi. So association of devotees is very, very important. Like Prabhupada gave the example that if you have one little stick, you can break it very easily. But if you put so many little sticks together, you can't break it. So our advancement in Krishna consciousness is keeping association of Vaishnavas. So they wanted to associate with the Vaishnavas, although Mayapur at that time, there were so many Mayavadis and those worshipping Durga and so many things, but still some Vaishnavas are there to get their association. And they used to congregate at Advaitacharya's house. And Srivas made his house not very far from Jagannath Misra's house. And Jagannath Misra and Srivas, they became great friends. And Srivas Pandit, he had a very wonderful wife, very devoted wife named Malini. And he appeared 30 years before Lord Chaitanya in Sylhet. And later he moved and became, and Malini became very good friend of Sachi Devi. She would always help Sachi Devi in so many ways, especially when Nimai appeared. Then Malini, she gave so much help to Sachi Devi and gave so much advice because our Nimai was a very naughty boy, so she gave so much advice how to raise the child. But due to the Lord's desire, nobody could recognize the Lord. They knew Advaitacharya was preaching that and he was praying. They were all praying in Advaitacharya's house, having Nam Sankirtan, just to beg the Lord to appear because the situation is so dire. They were saying those days it was dire. Nowadays it's It's completely frightening. But somehow we're amazed. Every night I'm so astonished. From upstairs I see so many thousands of people have come to the temple. In Vrindavan you'll be shocked. You can't even find a place to stand at Mangala arati. That means people come before 4. They come from some hotel somewhere, some guest house. So they come before 4 to come get up before 4 and come to the 4:30 arati, and you can't find place to stand. And when Prabhupada built the temple, the British said, "Why you built the temple so far away? Who will go there?" Now Prabhupada's up there in Golok looking down and laughing. He got the last laugh. Those who laugh last laugh best. So they say only if Lord, even Advaitacharya, he's Mahavishnu. Even he felt incapable to change the situation. So only if Lord himself appears. But still they couldn't recognize. But they knew that Nimai Pandit was very special. He became very learned, and he was a great debater. He could establish some point, and using so much arguments, he would establish his point, and people tried to defeat him. He would smash all the arguments. Then he turned around and he would smash his point that he just established with so many arguments. So seeing this, they were thinking, actually, if this guy, he would study the scriptures and become a Vaishnava, it would be so wonderful. So one day Srivas said, what is the use of all this argument? What will you get? It is totally useless. Just like there's one verse that in Bhagavatam that if you take the grain you take the husk the grain has already been taken out of the husk, and you try to thresh it again and get all you get is srama eva hi kevalam. Just useless. And Nimai, because he was actually the Supreme Personality of God himself, with a twinkle in his eye, he said, maybe by your good wishes I'll become a Vaishnava and I'll develop devotion for Krishna. You please give me your blessings. So Srivas was very surprised why this great debatist is talking like this. He couldn't understand. Then we know Mahaprabhu went to Nimai, he went to Gaya to perform the rites of his father. Then he met Ishwar Puri, and he came back a completely different person. And then Advaita and Srivas, they understood, yes, Nimai Pandit, he's the avatar that we've been praying for. So they all began to congregate in Srivas Angan. And every night they would have ecstatic kirtans with all the doors shut. This is before they started the Sankirtan movement. And they have all these ecstatic kirtans in Srivas Angan. And we know, of course, the smarta Brahmins, they became upset. What is this guy? What are these people? They're howling all night, making all this noise. We can't sleep. So finally they went to the Qazi and said, this guy he's not following our Hindu religion. He's invented something. Mahaprabhu didn't invent anything. In that chapter about the early pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, there's a whole section where Mahaprabhu quotes this verse from Brihad Naradiya Purana. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Eva Kevalam. Kalua. It very specifically says Kalua. Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva. 3 times Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam. And 3 times Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva. There's no other path, there's no other path, there's no other path. And somebody will say this is very closed-minded. But it's not, it's actually intelligence. If we're sick, do we go to the medical shop and say, give me some medicine? What medicine do you want? It's all good medicine, so give me some medicine, I'm sick. Do we do it like that? It's not very intelligent, is it? First we go to the doctor, then he finds out what's bothering us, then he prescribes specific medicine for our disease. This is intelligence. So this word kalua in this verse is very There's many, many processes, yoga, jnana, so many things. Dhyana. But Kalua, in this Kali Yuga, they will not be as effective as Harinam, Harinam, 3 times Harinam. So they're not blind. This is not close-minded. This is intelligence. Just like, suppose I'm suffering from diabetes, shakar. And now all the companies, so sugar is poison for me. And all the little children, we have anybody here? No, we don't. We ask a small child, do you like to take medicine? They'll make ugly face and So what do the companies do? They coat it all with sugar so the children will take it. So it's a good medicine recognized by the government, sealed and approved, recommended by doctors, approved by the government. But for me, that medicine will be poison. It's a good medicine, but for me, it will be poison. So we're all suffering from this Kali Mal, this dirt of Kali Yuga. So our medicine is Harinama, 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 chanting the holy name. So Mahaprabhu didn't invent something new. This is according to Shastra. Shastra comes the word Shashan. Shashan means to guide. Shastra is meant to guide us back to the lotus feet of Krishna. And also the Muslims, they were also complaining these people are making so much noise and racket. So one day the Qazi came to Srivas Pandit's house and Kirtan was going on. And he came inside and he stopped the Kirtan, stop this Kirtan. And then he had his guards break the mridanga. We used to do this play sometime and we'd find an old beaten up mridanga that was useless, you know. And then they'd be playing and the Qazi would come and then he would actually smash them because it was all useless mridanga. Bam! Everybody. He said, if you continue this kirtan anywhere in my city, then I not only appropriate all your property, I will turn you into Muslims. So all the devotees became frightened. When Nimai came, they told Nimai what happened, and then from Sriva's house he organized civil disobedience. The first civil disobedience protest was by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he called everyone from all the different villages. They all joined at Srivasa's house and they marched to the Kasi. So this is all a part of Srivasa's pastimes. One time when they were doing kirtan, Mahaprabhu came and he sat on the throne of Vishnu. And he said, Srivas, who are you worshipping? Just see him now. And he manifested his four-armed form with conch, disc, club, and lotus flower. And all the devotees began to worship Lord Chaitanya. And they began to do Abhishek. And for 21 hours this Abhishek was going on. This is called Mahaprakash Leela. For 21 hours. And there was one servant girl named Duki. She was bringing pots and pots of Ganga Jal for the Abhishek. Because usually Chaitanya Charitamrita says ordinarily for Abhishek 108 pots, but unlimited pots were brought. And Duki was running, this maidservant, she was running back and forth and back and forth. Mahaprabhu, seeing her service attitude, he was so happy, he gave her the name Sukhi. From this day, you are no longer Duki, you are Sukhi. And then in that Mahaprakash Leela, he called all the devotees and glorified them. He called Haridas, he called even Kolavecha Sridhar, he called Murari Gupta, he called all the devotees, and very special happening in Srivasa's house. Another time in Srivasa's house, he had the devotees chant Vishnu Sahasranam. And suddenly hearing in that somehow it mentions Lord Nrsingadev. And suddenly Mahaprabhu became overwhelmed with bhav and he took the form of Nrsingadev And he took a club and he ran out to the streets ready to smash all the atheists. And everyone was fleeing in all directions. Seeing everybody flee, then Mahaprabhu said, oh, what am I doing? To give fear to the people is very sinful. And Shiva said, my dear Prabhu, by seeing this form of you in anger like this, they've all become liberated from material existence. There's no offense. So like this, many wonderful things happen. One time, but they kept the door locked. This time was very confidential before they started their Nam Sankirtan. One time, one devotee came named Gopal Chapala. And he wasn't allowed in because he was a very envious type of fellow, spoke very harshly, and very rough fellow. So they wouldn't let him in. So he became very angry. He said, I'll fix this guy. So one night, because outside the house there was a Durga Mandap. This is not uncommon in Bengal that outside your house you have Durga Mandap. So he brought all the paraphernalia for worshipping Durga and placed it in the Durga Mandap. In the morning, Srivas Pandit, he saw all the paraphernalia for worshipping Durga is there. And he called all the respectable people of the neighborhood. Now you can know the truth. Externally, I'm showing myself as a Vaishnava, but secretly, I'm a Durga worshipper. And all the devotees cried, "Hoi, hoi, hoi, how is this? Who has done this horrible thing?" They immediately called the sweeper and they washed the whole thing with cow dung and like that. And then Gopala Chapala, he, by his offense to Srivas, he developed leprosy. And he was very proud of his bodily beauty. But his nose began to rot away, his fingers were rotting away, worms were crawling in and out of the sores. Oh, he was in horrible condition. He was just suffering like anything. One time he met Mahaprabhu as he was taking his bath in Ganga, and he said, "Look what has happened to me, please save me." He said, "You have offended my devotee, Srivas. You will suffer like this from this offense for millions of births. You will have to suffer like this for millions of births." Gopala Chapala, he became so depressed. Later, Mahaprabhu, he went, Nimai, he took sannyas and he went to Puri, but then he came back and visited Mayapur one time. At that time, Gopala Chapala came and fell at his feet and begged for his mercy. And he said, "You have offended Srivas. Only as Srivas Thakur gives you his blessing, will I will give my blessing." So he went and fell at the feet of Srivas Thakur, and Srivas Thakur forgave him and gave him blessing. Then Mahaprabhu gave him blessing and immediately removed all of his miseries. So these are some of the pastimes in Srivas's house. One time, Srivas had one son, only son. And Mahaprabhu was doing kirtan. And suddenly Srivas heard some noise in the house. And he went and he saw that his son has died and all the ladies were crying. Because we've been here in India for 40 years. It's a big deal. Somebody dies. Oh, the ladies just cry like it's a horrible thing. He said, he told them, "Please stop. You'll disturb Mahaprabhu's dancing." He said, "But your son has died. Let my son die, but don't disturb Lord Chaitanya. After all, the soul is eternal. Now he's going to taking another body somewhere. His time is up in this body." He began to speak philosophy. And he said, "If you disturb Mahaprabhu, then I will go drown myself in the Ganga." So somehow they controlled themselves and stopped crying. Finally, around midnight, Mahaprabhu stopped and he said, I'm not feeling bliss today. I'm not feeling bliss tonight. Something inauspicious has happened in your house? And Srivas said, "When you're in my house, how can anything inauspicious happen in my house? How anything inauspicious can happen in my house?" But the other devotees told Mahaprabhu what happened. And he said, Srivas, your son has died and you didn't tell me. He said, well, I didn't want to disturb your ecstasy. Birth and death is going on all day long. It's nothing new. I didn't want to disturb your ecstasy. And Mahaprabhu exclaimed, how can I abandon such people who love me, have so much devotion for me? When he used the word abandon, everyone became frightened. Because already by this time, Nimai was contemplating on taking sannyas. He says, how can I abandon such devotees who have such devotion? Devotees became frightened hearing this. Then Mahaprabhu went to the room where Srivas Pandit's son had died and put his hand on his chest, and suddenly the dead body sat up. And Mahaprabhu said, why have you left the house of such wonderful devotees? And Srivas' son began to speak. He said, everybody has his allotted time. I have taken so many births, and my time in this birth was finished. So I have experienced birth and death so many times, but this was the most glorious death because I saw your lotus face at the end of my life and heard the holy name of Krishna. This was a glorious death. And hearing all these words from the dead child, they understood, oh, this is most amazing thing. And then that child again lay down. So in this way, so many pastimes happened in Srivas Thakur's house. Mahaprakash was there. Even his son died. Nityananda finally came. For 1 year this was going on. Nityananda came. And then they started the Sankirtan movement, wandering through the streets. You know, we sing, Esikadiya Sabnadiya Firchineche Gornitai. The Gornitai, they began taking the kirtan to the streets like this. And finally, Nimai, he took sannyas and left for Puri. And finally, later, Srivas Thakur, unable to bear the separation of Nimai, then he moved to another city. Just now I can't remember, even Bhaktisiddhanta, because Prabhupada's purport is quoting Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Prabhupada tells even how to get there. You go by this train station, you get down and go there. And in that place, Srivas Pandit had deities, and those deities are still being worshipped in that place. So, on this most auspicious day of Srivas Thakur's appearance day, we can just fall at his lotus feet and beg for his mercy on us, that somehow or other we can also develop such devotion. Can you imagine such devotion? Only son has died, and he's telling everyone, be quiet, don't cry. He told them, he said, look, Nam Sankirtan is going on. Anyone who leaves his body, even if he's the most sinful person, if he hears Nam Sankirtan at the end of his life, he's going back to home, back to Godhead. He told them all like this. This is quoted there in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So this is a glorious death. Don't cry. Nothing to cry about. Nobody can do like that. We can imagine such devotion of Srivas Thakur. So, I've never given class about Srivas Thakur. I tried to study something, but between doctor's appointments, we didn't get a chance to. Maybe somebody remembers some pastime that I've missed from Srivas Thakur's. Or anybody has any question they'd like to ask? Did I miss anything? Yes?
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, from the verses of Bhagavatam that we read today, from Bhagavatam, which is going on, Bhagavatam. So from there I have a question that Arjuna, he could defeat Dronacharya, Bhishma Pitama, Karna, Duryodhan, all together when they were attacking the kingdom of Drupad Maharaj.
When they were attacking the kingdom of?
Drupad Maharaj,
Ah.
when they were in exile. So he could defeat them alone, Arjuna. But here, Arjuna, Arjun could defeat them all together. But here we see that Samb, in Krishna book Prabhupada writes, and in Bhagavatam also he mentions that they are as good as Krishna, they are as strong as Krishna, his sons and grandsons. And they are beyond the control of nature, they are immortals. So they must be stronger than Arjun, Sam and other children of Krishna. But how could he get defeated by these people?
How could? I don't know, this is all just part of the Leela. Krishna manifests his Leela just to glorify Samba. I'm not so expert in Mahabharata Leela. You'd ask me about Krishna, I could tell you. But this, how did Arjuna become bewildered on the battlefield? This is all Leela. Yes?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Today is also disappearance day of His Holiness Sridhar Swami Maharaj. Can you share some pastimes of Sridhar Swami Maharaj?
Today is his disappearance day?
Today is the disappearance day of Sridhar Swami Maharaj.
Really? I didn't know that. My goodness.
So they want to hear from you about Sridhar Maharaj.
Well, I knew him from when he was a devotee in Vancouver, and then later he went to India, and I was always in some far-off place like Portland, Oregon. So I didn't have so much as... He came there to Portland because we had a sweet relationship between all the three temples. There was Portland, and then upstairs is Seattle, and then upstairs a little further is Vancouver. So many temples, they had very bitter relationships. You're in our Sankirtan territory. But somehow, we all three temples, we used to, every 3 months, we'd either gather in Portland, or we gather in Seattle, or we gather in Vancouver and have festivals together. We had a very loving relationship, all the three temples. So I met him there in Vancouver. And later he mostly spent his time in India, and I just came at Mayapur festival time and met him. I can't remember any very specific special Leela that I had with him, but he was very, he must be looking down from Golok and seeing that now we just established this Nrsinga wing of the TOVP, so he must be, because he was very devoted to this Mayapur project. And he was always known as the Jolly Swami, always laughing. I can't remember anything very significant. Anybody else want to say something about Sridhar Swami? Because he stayed here with your Bombay for so long before he went to Mayapur. Brajhar, you want to say something about Sridhar?
His Holiness Sridhar Swami Maharaj, he was in the beginning, when I joined here, he was regional secretary of Juhu and other places. And is very jolly and very heavy personality also. I remember one time, Prabhupada disciples, some Prabhupada disciples, they are pujari here. This Siddhartha Maharaj, who was Siddhartha Prabhu, he was head pujari. So they have some dispute among the devotees, the Prabhupada disciple and Siddhartha Prabhu. And they beat Siddhartha Maharaj here. So Sridhar Maharaj and Gopal Krishna Maharaj, they went to downtown. When they came, they saw that, Maharaj was beaten by the other devotees. So both of them went and searched in Hare Krishna land and beat everybody. And then the same night, Siddhartha Maharaj left to New Vrindavan. And when Sridhar Maharaj, he also started the Bhisma department. He is the founder Acharya of Bhisma department in Juhu. He first, I remember Kumbh Mela was there, that is 1989 or 87, I'm forgetting. But he first sent the mail to the live members of Bombay. And when he was sending the mail, he himself was so involved. Actually, we didn't have any computer that time. So Maharaj got one computer from somewhere from America, and it came to Calcutta. Calcutta, Adridharan Prabhu. Maharaj told me that you just bring it from Calcutta. It's a big computer, and he started the printing there. And he engaged all the devotees, all the senior devotees, junior devotees, every new bhakta for making that envelope. What now we are engaging people workers, but all the devotees were working, and then send the mail. And first time we received, he got 11 lakhs rupees. Those days 11 lakhs rupees very big money. Now you can say crores of rupees. So Maharaj started, and then Kumbh Mela was very nicely done. And then he collected funds for Makar Sankranti. What we are nowadays see that Makar Sankranti, we are giving 1,11,000 plates of prasadam. But he started with 11,000 prasadam, 11,000 plates of prasadam. And it was very nice. So many people were involved, and cooking was done, and 11,000 prasadam was distributed. And Maharaj is a very good speaker, and Srimad Bhagavatam, he was doing college preaching. He was the first person who started the college preaching. And there, Srinathji Prabhu, he gave one big bus. That time, people just come to see that bus, such a long bus. And Maharaj had office there, and they saw some video those days, and they go to college and park the bus. And many students, they just come to see the bus. But and then they start preaching, and they do book distribution. So, like that, Maharaj has done lot of service for Juhu temple. Even before I joined, there was a one time one person, he was a stunt actually in Bollywood, and he used to come our Hare Krishna land. But there was some fight between the security and that stunt man. And the security beat him on the head, and he collapsed and died. And then all the devotees, Sridhar Maharaj, all the foreign devotees, those are there, they went to Santa Cruz police station. They are in the lockup, and they started doing kirtan inside the temple. And they preached all the people there. And so So, after some time, they got bail and just came back here because security has beaten, not the devotees. Devotees never directed them, so they got the bail and came back. So Sridhar Maharaj is very heavy personality and same time very love in the heart. And he actually in 1996, that is Srila Prabhupada centennial year. So he was heading the centennial celebration in Bombay, and we collected funds for this program. And after that, he became GBC, and there were some problems which I don't want to narrate here. And he went to Mayapur for attending GBC meeting. And GBC meeting, he was some demand was that he was to resign from the temple president of Juhu temple. And finally, he resigned. But after that, he developed some liver cirrhosis problem. So he went to Giriraj Swami and Sridhar Maharaj. They went to Vrindavan and they did parikrama of Govardhan. And after they came, Giriraj Maharaj, he went to America, but Sridhar Maharaj, he got sick because his stomach got bolted and he couldn't able to come by flight, so came by train. He was admitted in the Juhu Bhaktivedanta hospital, and he was staying. We have a Haridas Prabhu has a plot there, so he was staying there, and we used to go there, but his health condition was very bad, and he was. Then we just we vacated the tenants first. Tenant, if you know, more than 31 tenants were living here. So we vacated all the tenants. One by one were vacating. So one time, one plot was vacated. So we called Sridhar Swami and just asked him to stay here in Hare Krishna land. And we promised him to take care of all his health issue, all expenses, everything. And Maharaj, then peacefully, he was staying here. And I remember he just went to Canada to do the transplant of the liver. So when he went to Canada, they sent the helicopter to just go to the hospital. And when they checked, they found that his liver was completely cancer infected. So then the doctor said that it cannot be. Your life is only for next 4 or 5 months you can survive. So Maharaj, so he just came to India. Indradhamra Swami, he brought him from London to Mayapur, and he went straight to Mayapur because Maharaj was working, like Dinbandhu Prabhu said, he was working for TOBP program. In initial stage, when there is nothing, TOBP, he was there. So when he came to Mayapur, that time festival was there. Thousands and thousands of people, they welcome Maharaj from the main gate, and he came to temple. And then we have one room in that is Conch building, big room. So Maharaj was staying there, and all the Prabhupada disciples, sannyasi, everybody there, every day they are doing kirtan there, and Maharaj was spending his time nicely. But then one day, and he did the first Panchatattva Abhishek. He was not able to stand there, but Jayapata Maharaj hold him and he did the Abhishek. And after the Abhishek, we went to his room. So Maharaj told me, he said, Brajari, I am going to die in Mayapur, but that time heavy summer, no devotees will be there, so what will happen? Then I told him that, Maharaj, please come to Bombay, please stay in Bombay, we will take care of everything. He said, okay, I will see. And then he has three desires to fulfill. One is to attend the Gaur Punya festival that year. Second is to die in Mayapur. Third is something I am forgetting. If I remember, I will let you know. Three things he had. And then Maharaj, he went to, so that I invited him. So his disciple Mayapur Das, so very nice devotee, he was serving. So Maharaj, one day he told him, call Brajari that I want to come to Bombay. So I said, okay. So I told him that we'll do everything. Please bring Maharaj. And Maharaj, after just 3 days, the same today's date, Srivas Thakur appearance day. So we are in Mangala arati. I was in front of Sitaram Lakshmana Hanuman. I got a call from Mayapur Das. So fortunately I had my mobile that time. So I went Parikrama. So Mayapur told that Maharaj's condition is very bad and whole night he couldn't sleep and maybe he has already died. So they are calling for the doctor to check. He said, he please announce everybody to pray. That day Bhaktichar Maharaj was here and we did, right after Mangala arati we did Kirtan in front of Lord Narsingh Dev. Bhaktichar Maharaj led the Kirtan and while Kirtan was going on, we got the news that Maharaj left his body. So we, Haridas Prabhu and Bhaktichar Maharaj and myself, we just went to Mayapur. In Mayapur, his body was kept right in front of Panchatattva, very nice, like a very meditative pose. We were sitting in Vyasasana and they were waiting for us. So once we reached there and they did parikrama and same day they took him to Prabhupada Bhajan Kutir and then to Prabhupada Samadhi and all devotees assembled there. There was a big kirtan and evening about 4 o'clock his body was, Samadhi was given to him. And so this is a nutshell I just told, but many things to tell, many pastime he has, but I think that is the last day. His brother from Canada, 2 brothers, they came that time, and we had a very big festival here for him, Chowpadi Temple, and we together did very nice program for Maharaj. So Maharaj has done so much service to Srila Prabhupada, and he left his body in 2004. 2003, we had 25th anniversary of Hare Krishna, RadhaRasbihariTemple, and Maharaj was the master of ceremony. We gave him some service. His health was not good, but we gave him some service. His service was to invite all the Srila Prabhupada disciples, those who served in RadhaRasbihariTemple. And because our timing and their timing is different, Maharaj whole night he used to call the devotees, and finally more than 120 Prabhupada disciples, they arrived here. That time Heaven Earth project was not there, and we whole guest house, we kept each room 2 Prabhupada disciple, and it was very nice program. That time I think Dinbandhu Prabhu, you are here. Very nice program here.
Very wonderful.
And so, like the Sridhar Maharaj, his contribution, he got donation because we didn't have much money. So all the tickets of Srila Prabhupada disciple, Mafatlal Prabhu, Krishna Chandra Prabhu from Chopadi, he gave all money. And we did prasadam, decoration. It was very gorgeous, very big program that time. So that all credit goes to Maharaj. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Sridhar Maharaj ki, Prabhupada ki.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
I just remembered one more pastime of Sridhar in Srivas Thakur's house, because we heard how nobody was allowed to come. So there was another Brahmin. They wouldn't allow him in the house because he was an envious fellow. So next day when Nimai went to take bath in the Ganga, that fellow came and cursed him. He said, "You will be bereft of all material happiness." And Nimai jumped in the air. Haribol! Haribol! Hare Krishna. So we'll all stop here and offer our most humble obeisances. Lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki.